to Conversations with Chris.
And Crystal.
And
It's good to see you.
What do you think of my new earrings?
Oh, yes. Aren't they amazing?
My best friend bought those for me for Christmas.
Who would that be? Citrine. Oh, yeah, they're really pretty. I really like those. Always yellow.
Always.
Something yellow. So today we wanted to talk about our favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our favorite movies.
And why they might be our favorite.
Yes, because we want to hear about your favorite movies as well. So we thought we'd have a little chat about that.
We're kind of analyzing ourselves.
Yes,
and,
yes,
See
yes.
what you think. If you've never thought about why you like certain movies, start thinking about that.
Yeah.
And see what you come up with.
Yeah, see what you come up with. Go ahead.
'Cause I had an epiphany.
Oh, here we go.
Well, growing up, my favorite movies were always like Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz,
Oh, yeah, I love that
The
one.
Ghost of Mrs. Muir,
Loved it.
Laura,
Yes, another
and
favorite.
more recently, Lady Hawk.
Oh, love that one.
I always loved Cinderella.
Yes.
So it's things
Which
like
which
that.
Cinderella?
The cartoon.
Disney cartoon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so, and looking back, I'm looking at these and going, okay, out of all of these movies, all but one of them is an impossible romance. So that tells me why I have been pretty much unlucky with love. Because apparently I'm looking for an impossible romance. Because you look at it, Gone with the Wind, did Rhett and Scarlett end up together?
No.
Laura, man falls in love with the painting of a dead girl.
Yeah. Interesting. I know. It was really well
Ghost
done.
of Mrs. Muir, woman falls in love with a dead man.
Something there.
Lady Hawk, we've got a couple who can never be together because in the daytime she's a hawk and in the nighttime he's a wolf.
Yeah.
So
You're cursed.
Cinderella, she's, well, of course she ended up with the guy, but
Yeah.
she was in this situation.
They kept her from getting involved with anyone for
Yeah.
a long period of time. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that explains a lot about me.
That is interesting. But those are really good movies for me too. I really, Laura, that theme. Oh my gosh. And I can't believe, when I hear it on the radio. I mean,
You do?
Yeah, I have heard it on the radio, and it's like, you've got to be kidding me. I thought that was just in the movie.
I'm surprised nobody's made a hip hop song out of it
Yeah,
yet.
really. Yeah. Now we're going to bring it up. People are going to go, what is that song? I think I'll look that up. Yeah, I like those movies too. I liked, what did I like? The Long, Long Trailer.
Oh, yeah, with Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball. So what's that? What is it there? I sent it to my folks because they had a long trailer. I love that how it becomes, 20 feet of train, 30 feet of train, 40 feet. I think it ends up at 50 feet of train behind him. Just because it's like, I'm hauling this trailer. And so I really liked that one. I like Please Don't Eat the Daisies.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was a very, I needed to escape. And when I was young, and those older movies and stuff were just the greatest place to go. Musicals, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers stuff. Any particular one, do you know? Are you into Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers at all?
I remember Top Hat, I think it was.
Yeah, Top Hat and Swing Time. Swing Time was a good one too. I really did enjoy that. But why do we like some of these movies that we like? I think mine was an escape.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, speaking of the old musicals like that
Yeah.
with the dancing,
Yeah.
we watched at Christmas time. We were watching White Christmas again, and I was remembering as a kid, I always thought, "Wow, it's so neat that they can just come up with these dances on the spur of the moment. They just meet this person, and there they go."
That's it. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And you grow up and you're like, it's all choreographed.
Have you ever? Yeah, I know. It's not as easy.
Takes
as
the
it looks.
magic out of it.
Yes. So have you ever seen a movie when you were younger and then saw it again later when you were older and the magic was gone?
Yes, and I hate that.
What was yours? Did you have one?
Well, certain things. I mean, some like Wizard of Oz, it's still magical, but
It is.
What
It is.
got me was I had never noticed until I was in my 20s. I was watching it that the Tin Man undoes the balloon. He undoes the rope to the balloon and helps the balloon go off.
Oh, okay.
So Dorothy gets stranded there, and and then he asks, "Oh, you know."
Yeah.
So I had never
Okay. Oh, you know what? I don't think I ever noticed that.
You have to look it up. 'Cause
I will. I'll have to check that out. Wow,
Yeah.
that's really crazy.
Yeah.
Mine was The Three Lives of Thomasina.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I
about a
remember that
cat.
one.
Yeah, about a cat. And I really believed that the woman in the woods was a witch, and she brought the cat back to life from death, which was not true. The cat had tetanus, and the father of the little girl, whose cat it was a vet, and he did not have time to deal with a cat with tetanus. You need to get it out of here, and so she and her friends put on a funeral for the cat.
Oh yeah, I vaguely.
Yeah, and the woman sees them in the glen and go, and they get scared because they think she's a witch, and she comes and she touches the cat and she says, "You're still alive." Well, I mean, what were they doing? What were these children thinking? And I didn't know. Of course, I didn't put it together that so I really believed it was very magical. And then I remember being like 16, I think, and seeing it again. And I literally went upstairs and just sat, by my mom's bed, like, oh wow, that is just so trippy to have it not be that magic anymore.
Actually, the things for me, it's more TV series that became not as magical to me, because I remember growing up watching Moonlighting and Remington Steele, and I
yeah.
loved those shows, just loved them.
Mm-hmm.
So when they finally came out on DVD,
Yep.
I bought them, and then I'm watching them, and I'm like,
Why did I ever watch it?
these aren't that great.
Well,
you
it's
know?
funny. As a society, we must just graduate into different things that, I don't know, there's classics. The Andy Griffith Show, I think, continued. Even into syndication, I think, kids today, I wonder, younger people today, what do they look back at and go, oh, I really like that show? Why?
Well, and what's sad too now is that kids are used to explosions and action and this and that
Yes,
every second
yes.
of the screen time.
Yes, and it keeps moving
So
through, yeah.
they get bored by the things that make you think, and
Yeah.
that makes me sad,
It
because
is.
it's like,
That is very sad.
have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
I feel like I did, but I can't tell you what it's about.
Well,
I can't tell you, remember what it was.
This man of average intelligence and a hooker, he doesn't know she's a hooker, but she got roped into doing this too. They get frozen by the army. They were only supposed to be frozen for a year. But this program got shut down. They were forgotten about. 500 years pass, and something happens and they wake up. Well, the girl's somewhere else. But the guy, he wakes up and everybody is an idiot in the world. And he's the smartest man, and he's only of average intelligence. And at one point he says to the girl, do you ever think that when that Einstein, thought everybody else around him was an idiot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
That's a good point.
but there was a lot of things that I'm worried that we are heading that way, because people just, they don't want to think anymore.
No, they don't. They don't want to think that's true. Yeah, they like that action and all that sort of thing. I've kind of gotten into sci-fi. The Marvel series has been good up until now. Tell me, have you seen it yet? You have not seen Love and Thunder?
No.
Good for you. Don't. We'll watch it together because I would be interested to get your input.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was, I think it's kind of the end of Marvel as we know it. And it was a good director, so I'm really shocked. I'm just shocked. I'm stunned. And I'm still trying to make sense out of it and make it work in that whole Marvel universe.
Well, I did hear that Thor's girlfriend somehow is worthy enough to lift his hammer.
Yes, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I know about it.
Okay, that's enough. You don't need to know anymore. I don't want to give it away. We'll have to watch it so that we can really get a feel for it.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say that's all I know. I know what's going on with her too.
Yeah, okay.
But
Yeah.
I don't want to say in case
I know,
any of
we don't
you
want to
haven't
ruin it
seen
for anybody. Yeah, that's true. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I really loved the whole Marvel series until that, and now it's come to a screeching dead halt. What else? I did like the Star Wars again series, the different Star
The new
Wars
ones?
films. I like the new ones too.
I didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the episodes 1 through 3. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Or before. I think 4 is on there too. Isn't it?
No, 4 is the original.
Oh, that's
Star
the
Wars,
first one.
yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
So it's funny because my nephews adored the Star Wars series. So every time we talk about it, I'd say, "Oh, the original one is the best one," and then they'd be like, "Episode 1 you thought was the best with that annoying kid?" And I was like, "No, episode what they call 4 now,
Yeah,
but that
right,
was the
right.
original."
Back then it was
Star
1.
Wars.
Yeah, it was the original.
I mean, Darth Vader was so awesome. He was cool. He was like, "Woo!" And then they introduced Anakin Skywalker, and you're like,
Yikes.
"You just ruined Darth Vader for me."
So that was interesting. Yeah, that was how they did that. And I did like Star Trek. I did like the one with Abrams directing that first one of all of them being younger.
Yeah.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
I have to say, normally it annoys me when they put an actor in who doesn't have the same eye color as the original one.
Okay.
But
How did
I
we
have-
notice those things? Okay.
I notice eye color. I can't help it. But the guy that played Dr. McCoy as a young guy, he was awesome.
He was
Even though
awesome, but
He
he had
didn't
the
have
wrong-
the right eye color, but
Okay.
he was awesome.
I didn't even notice that. That's another one I'll have to go back and look at. I'm looking for the editing. That's me. I'm looking for how things edit, how they work together, how they flow together. I took cinematography, so I'm looking for all that stuff all the time. I used to sit in movie theaters and do a play-by-play of everything that was wrong with the movie out loud for, it took me 7 years to quit doing that.
Bet the people around you loved you.
Oh yeah, it was really, really fun. Yeah, enough of that. Don't need to do that anymore. So what other movies? Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Love that one. Makes me want to clean house.
So you like a lot of the musicals.
I lived in a fantasy. I think I really needed to go to another world. And now when we were younger, sci-fi wasn't that way yet. It wasn't that.
It wasn't as technologically advanced.
And it wasn't fantasy. It was, we're these weird people that live over here, and we come over here and kill you. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, that's about all that was going on.
Like the pod people.
Yeah,
and body snatchers and
all that
the
stuff.
War
yeah.
of the Worlds. And
It was more horror, I
Yeah.
think, than anything else. Now it's become this fantasy, and you can kind of trip out into that world and be okay with that. Nobody's trying to kill anybody. Well, they are, but
although Star Trek was always, about
something going on.
humans interacting with aliens.
True,
and-
true,
yeah.
true. And I liked the
loved
Star
the
Trek.
Trek.
Yeah,
The
series,
original.
the original.
To me,
yeah.
there is nothing but the original series.
I know they've certainly gone through their gamut, haven't they, of stuff. I can't remember.
Milked it for all it was worth.
I know, and I get Jeff to sit and look at it, and if we can get through one show, he's done. With these newer ones. Yeah, they were fun, but I was really amazed what Abrams did with that. I could not get over it. Went to the theater with my girlfriend, who didn't really know anything about Star Trek. She liked the movie. And she's living under a rock somewhere, I'm pretty sure. And I came home and I couldn't stop talking about it. And so I told Jeff, we have to go see it right now. So we did. We went and saw it. And he sat during the credits and cried.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he said never in his wildest dreams did he think that somebody could make it yet another Star Trek film and do it justice. And it was well done. It was very well done.
Well, growing up, Star Trek was in syndication when I was growing up, and my brother and I, we used to pretend to be Kirk and Spock. I was Kirk, he was Spock. Spock was his favorite character.
Yeah.
And then the kids across the street when we lived in Texas, Ronald and Donald Rogers, they had this fort in their backyard. Like their dad, I think he had custody, but he, I don't know if it was guilt or what, but he gave them a lot of stuff, like to spoil them and stuff.
Yeah.
But they had this big fort, and we would pretend that was the Enterprise. And when we played with
love
them,
that.
Ronald had to be Captain Kirk. and Donald was Dr. McCoy, and I was Scotty. So
Okay.
I'd be down in the bottom of the fort, and if it had rained, it's muddy down there and nasty.
no,
and I'd be
oh,
like,
no.
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. Sometimes the neighbor girl would come over to play, and we'd make her the alien bad guy that we were shooting our phasers at.
Oh my gosh, that's great. No, I never did that. You know, I don't know. I'm older than you. I played pioneer,
Oh yeah.
digging in the dirt, growing our own crops. Yeah,
Wow.
I know. It could have been a history lesson.
You'd have had a good job at the Living History Museum.
There you go. Yeah, I like doing that. And we played house, and
Oh, I hated when first grade we would play house. They had all these toys and things for kids in class, and
Yeah.
you could play house. Every time I wanted to be the mom, but no, I always got stuck being the dad. And what does the dad do? Goes off to work, and then there's nothing.
I
more
know,
for you.
that's true. That's it.
And the mom got to play with all the kitchen things and
Take
whatnot.
care of the baby, and
Yeah.
and feed the baby, and all that stuff. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So no wonder I became a tomboy. I was always getting cast as the boy,
Yeah.
the
There you
dad.
go. Yeah.
And then we did square dancing in 6th grade, and I had to be the guy for that.
I can't remember when I think I was in junior high when we did
Square
dancing. Yeah.
But we digress.
Yes, we do. We do. So the films. I did like Wuthering Heights.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I loved when I read that book. And
Yeah.
That's another impossible romance, Kathy and
Yes, it
Heathcliff.
is. Yes, it is. Doomed from the beginning.
I loved the book Pride and Prejudice too.
I never read that. I started to, but I did not finish that. I think I was having trouble following everything in the book. But I have seen the different movies that have come out in that.
Oh, the 7th grade got to go see a play called Wickham's Christmas,
Oh, okay.
based on Pride and Prejudice, and their homeroom teacher was telling me they were like, "Oh, you should beat him up. He's cheating on her. How
No.
dare he?"
Oh, that's
it was
funny.
So it was great
Oh my
that they
gosh.
got into that culture.
Yeah, really. And, yeah, understand what's going on. That is so funny. What else? You know, because we had a channel in Minneapolis called, or a show on the channel called Comedy and Classics for Big Kids. And hosted by Alan Lotsberg, who is no longer with us. But he, it was local, and they would play at midnight. They would play 2 classic films and talk about some of the cute things. There was someone with with the Marx Brothers, and they were singing 4-part harmony, but there were only 3 of them that were there. That was hilarious, you know, because he said just you know, one of those little notes if you have happened. I wish I could see the clips of that him back then, because he had some really good trivia back in the day when we didn't have computers to look it up and find that stuff out, and so he would share that with us on those films, and it was fun. It was fun. I usually didn't make it through the second film. I usually just fell asleep because it would get so late. But
Oh, which makes me think of all the shows I used to watch on summer vacation from school, old syndicated shows like The Night Stalker, Kolchak, The Night Stalker.
Yep.
Love that show. The Rockford Files.
oh yeah, her favorite, her absolute favorite.
Oh, and when we were little kids, Dark Shadows was on. And
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
Ran home from school to watch that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And by the time I was watching it then in elementary school, it had been already out. That it was in syndication at that point. And then, but I was there when it was original.
Oh, wow.
I was like 5 years old. And my grandmother would say, "Oh, Dark Shadows is on."
Well,
You know,
my mom, my dad would work on TVs in the basement, and he had it on, and my brother and I would be sitting on the stairs watching, and my mom was kind of afraid that she didn't know anything about the show. She thought,
Yeah.
oh, maybe it'll scare them.
Yeah.
And then she got into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we would all watch it.
Yeah.
And,
No, that was one of my personal favorites. I actually have a whole set of the bubblegum cards.
oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know they had those.
yeah,
Wow.
I got those. Yeah, we then a friend of mine, he and I would run home from school because I think we got off of school at 3:00, and we were only 2 blocks away, and we would tear home because it started at 3, so we'd miss a little bit by the time we got there, and I had always wished that I could have. I I started to record them because I wanted to share them with my grandmother again, because she and I had watched them together. But I never got that far.
And then there's the Carol Burnett show.
Oh yeah.
We used to go over to my great aunt's house and spend the night Saturday nights, and then we got to stay up and watch Carol Burnett
Oh,
and eat
fun.
popcorn. And
Yeah,
that's
oh.
where I learned all my comedic timing.
Ooh, there you go.
Carol
Yeah, I
Burnett.
bet I probably did that too. I think I probably
Probably.
picked up things from
And
her
Lucy.
too.
Yeah.
Yep, and Lucy. Yeah, that's really interesting. What other movies would I go out of my way to see again, or actors? Loved Errol Flynn.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely loved him. I was
Tyrone Poe.
devastated when I found out he was dead. I didn't think he was dead.
Oh.
Found out in a very roundabout way. There was another film, a newer film, and they were showing pictures of dead people, and his popped up, and I wasn't aware that he had died, and I was devastated.
I used to love the Vincent Price movies too.
Yep. So I had Errol Flynn, David Niven. I had a thing for British people, although Errol Flynn was Australian. And who else did
Tyrone Power.
no, it just went out of my brain.
What was he in?
He was in, he was Ashley.
Oh, Leslie Howard.
Yes, love Leslie Howard. I wish he had been around longer.
And his son played Sherlock Holmes in the TV series.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
that?
His first name now, obviously Howard. Somebody
Yeah,
Howard.
yeah.
But,
Oh,
and he
I gotta
looks
find
so
out.
much like
oh,
him.
Oh, and he was so smooth. And then Scarlett
And
Pimpernel.
of course,
he
I'm
did
not
that one
talking
too.
about the Basil Rathbone. I'm talking about a different one.
Right. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who would that have been?
I'll show you later.
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, show me later.
Yeah.
I've got to figure that out. Yeah, I loved his delivery. You know, Pygmalion and
Oh, yeah.
all the
Fun.
stuff that he did.
What about Rex Harrison?
I liked Rex Harrison. I really did. I wasn't thrilled with the fact later to find out.
Yeah, I was going to say I liked him
his-
too until I
his-
found out what he was really like.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with me. You know, I remember girls at school, when we were sophomores in high school, we went to a pep rally in the gymnasium, and they had the soccer team lined up across the floor. And my girlfriends were all, oh, tee hee hee, giggle, 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 oh, isn't he so cute? Oh. And I said, who are we talking about? What are we talking about here? And they pointed out this guy in the group. Actually, he was at the end of the line, this short little guy, and they were all madly in love with him. And I said, well, do you know him? I mean, here I am, so practical.
Mature.
Yeah. Do you know him? Well, oh my goodness, no. I mean, never. Oh my God, you know, they'd probably faint. And so I made a point after that to meet him. And I started noticing where he was. His locker was actually outside the back door of the theater, where I spent most of my time.
And for you younger viewers, lockers were places where you held your textbooks and things at school. Textbooks are things they used to give you to read
That's
at
true.
school.
That's true.
So-
Yeah, that's very true.
Continue.
So yeah, so he had his locker there, and he was also in my study hall. And so I went up and introduced myself, and he was very gracious and very kind. You know, nothing developed from it, but we said hi in the hallways and things like that, and it took away that mystique of having a crush on what? What do you have a crush on? How do you know? I mean, even when I look at the actors, these poor actors, they don't stand a chance with me. You know, if you know, these women who are all just, oh, it's him, it's her,
Yeah.
whatever, and it's like,
I've never understood that.
I
whole
don't
screaming when
know.
you see them. and-
No. I'm pretty sure I would not want to live with that person. Probably, you know, there's something underneath that you don't know about, and I mean, maybe it's nice to live in that fantasy. And like I said, I liked fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to come from, you know, Asgard, you know, or something.
and
They're not
that's the
real
thing-
stuff.
That's the thing with me too, because I think I love impossible romances because if I was in love with a ghost, he could never leave his clothes on the floor and irritate me.
Nice,
and
yeah.
things like that. Whereas in reality, the men that I've been involved with, I haven't
Yeah.
met a man worth having.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
haven't.
yeah. It's not, if you can keep them in the context of the actor that the character they're
The
playing.
character, yeah.
Okay, but to pull them out of that and they become real people. My husband is a musician, and I told him, I said, anything happens to me, there's going to be women around the block for you. And he said, oh no. He goes, then they're going to find out what I'm really like. They see him on stage, it's different than
Yeah.
getting into reality. And I don't know why. I right away go right to reality and go, oh, or no, I can't do this. Yeah. It doesn't work for me. And my other favorite is she and I watching movies now, newer movies, within the last 10 years or so. And I remember we watched a movie, it was one of the Marvel movies, and then you and I got together shortly after for breakfast or something like that.
Picked it apart.
And, well, at the same time, we look at each other and we're in horror, realizing that we are old enough to be the mothers of these actors.
Oh, yeah.
That was a horrific
Hey,
experience.
I don't think we should be telling them how old we are.
Well, we certainly aren't their grandmothers, I can
No,
tell you that. We
yeah.
would be their mothers. Very young mothers, but we're mothers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We would have been children when we had
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was crazy. It was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so it just kind of changes the idea of crushes.
Yeah.
We might have to take this part out.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you're looking at the young guys, and I have done that. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
probably be cutting this.
Yeah, I think we should cut
But
it short.
but yeah, you're looking at the young guys today on screen, and you're like, wow, he's good looking, or
Yeah,
whatever. And
yeah.
then you think, I wonder what he looked like as a baby, because I would have been like, 20 years old when he was born.
That's
He was
right.
like,
That's right. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling. So, well, I think we're gonna have to cut ourselves short here. But let us know what your favorite movies are and why. Why did you feel that you were compelled to those, or you watch? I don't know. I'm one of those that watches movies over and over again.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm looking for, but apparently I'm looking for something because my husband is completely confused by that. But I can watch any of them over and over again, my favorites. No
Oh, yeah.
problem.
I say the dialogue along with the dialogue in Lady Hawk because I can't help myself.
Yeah, it works. It works. Alrighty, well,
Remember,
yes, always remember,
take care
take
of
care of
yourself
because nobody else will. And we're here to tell you that. So let us know what your thoughts are, and we look forward to speaking again soon.
Bye.
Bye.